So, hello everyone. Welcome back to my podcast, Dating Tips for Single Women. I'm your host, Antje Boyd, coming from find1elite.com. And today I have a very special guest here with me, Kelley Tenny.
Good
Hi, Kelley.
morning. Hi.
I love your background. Be bold, be brave, be you.
Yes, absolutely.
So I love what you stand for. And let me tell the listener a little bit about you so we know who we're working with today. So Kelley has been a health educator for over 15 years. She works at CSU Long Beach as a health professor. She enjoys mentoring, motivating, and coaching women, which brought her to Hot Mom, a mom support business helping moms from hot mess to hot mom. How about that? Welcome.
Yes,
Kelley.
absolutely.
Yay. It's so great because so many of my listeners I know, so many women I work with are moms. And we haven't really addressed that outside of, looking for the right partner, there's also this role being a mom and how do I balance that, right? Because so many times I hear from moms, I haven't been on a date in like, I don't know, weeks because, my kids started school again and this and that, right? And so when
Yeah,
I met you, I got really excited because I'm like, why don't we talk about that? And so what, right? So what your kids' school has started again, right? What has started with
exactly.
dating, right?
Exactly.
And have
Yes.
like that healthy selfishness. So Kelley, tell us a little bit more like why you're so passionate about this. What's been your own journey as a mom and finding that balance?
So I think something that I realized was the moment I had my first child, your whole world absolutely changes when you become a mom. And I think it's not only your daily routine that changes, but your whole mindset in terms of your values and beliefs, and also what society's beliefs are in terms of what a mom should look like.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of all gets dumped in your lap. And I think you don't truly realize what that means until you have a child. And what I find most with moms is that they feel like they need to live a life of selflessness so that
Mm-hmm.
everything is focused on their children. But, moms are still women. And so even though they now have these 80 different hats on that they have to wear, the maid and the cook and the chauffeur and the nurturer and the nurse and all of that stuff, they tend to lose a little bit of sight in terms of who they were before they were a mom. And I think it's something that women struggle with. And I think a lot of women find out that there's a little piece of them that tends to feel like they're missing because they forget that they were somebody before they were mom. And especially for the women that you work with who are moms who are wanting to get back into the dating scene, moms who are wanting to find a significant other or a confidant or a companion. There's got to be a lot of barriers that they face having to not only being a mother, but being a single mom who's back out in the dating world again.
Yes, so true. And
Yeah.
so tell us more like when you said like, okay, what was like your moment where you shifted and you said, okay, this is like ridiculous, right? Like I got to do something about this. Like I got to kind of come home to myself too. My kids are calling me their home, but like what's my home, right?
Yes.
So what was
Yes.
that like snap, moment or day or event that happened where you're just like, no, this is unsustainable.
I think, and I'll be honest, and I think this is why I'm so passionate about reaching out and helping other women, is it took me a really long time to realize that just because I became a mom, that was not the only thing that I should be identifying with.
Yes.
I have two children. Um, One who's about to turn 7 and one who will be 5 at the end of the summer. And it wasn't until my second was born where I finally was able to let go of that guilt of doing things that didn't necessarily have to do with them. Because I realized that I think I almost hit the bottom when I realized that if I can't be happy, I can't do anything for my partner. I can't do anything for my
Mhm.
children. I was at a point in my past career where I was tired and I was coming home from work and I really just wasn't being the best mom that I could be. And I remember my husband walking in the door one day and I saying to him, I've been a jerk to our children all afternoon. Like I just didn't have anything left to give them.
Mm.
And that's not the kind of mother that I wanted to be. But I really had to let go of that guilt and say, you know what, it's okay to nurture myself and
Mhm.
do things for myself, because without that, I can't be a good wife. I can't be a good partner. I can't be a good friend. And I certainly can't be a good mother.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
And it really, like some people, some women were really like, right? Like how heavy that feels in your heart when you just realize I've been just a jerk to my own kids, to my own blood that I just want the best for, and I want them to be
Yes.
nurtured, right? But it's really where I think
Yeah.
that's where you got that, like, this has consequences. This is actually not meaning that I can give more time to my kids or, that I can be more caring, but quite the opposite.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's very common for moms to feel like they're not doing their best. I think it's very common for moms to question if they're being a good mom. I think it's very common for moms to be embarrassed to admit that sometimes they just weren't the ideal mother that they could have been.
Yeah.
But it takes that extra step to realize that being selfless and being able to be a good mom is actually means being selfish every now and then and being able to nurture yourself as well.
Yeah. And what would you say, what were some of the blind spots in addition what you mentioned to what you see from when moms come to you and when they struggle, right? What
Yeah.
would you say, what are
I,
they not seeing and they're then surprised by when you tell them the truth?
I think there's a couple things. I think one of the things that women deal with is the pressures that they feel that society puts on them. I think that everybody wants to look like they're a great mom. And I think deep down inside, there are probably few women that are actually perfect, amazing moms. I
Mhm.
mean, no matter how put together somebody looks, I think that it's just not the case, because I think part of being a mom is just being messy. I mean, it's just messy and
Right.
it's chaos
Face
and
it.
it's always playing catch up. And I think that's part of it. And I think that the biggest barrier that moms have is admitting, one, yes, my life is chaotic. And
Mhm.
two, asking for help, because I think that's not only a mom thing, that's also a woman thing.
Mhm.
With feeling like, oh, am I going to look weak if I ask for help? Especially probably all the single moms that you have out there.
Mhm.
They're women and they want to be strong, and they're raising their kids, probably a lot of them on their own, maybe without even the help of anybody else. And women are just afraid to ask for help. I think they fear like I think they're afraid that it looks like they don't have it together.
Mm. Mhm.
And that's such a huge barrier, because when I talk about 5 simple ways to just get into that hot life, being savvy and being sexy and having your schedule down, part of that is you have to be able to build a network of people that can help you, because married, single, whatever it may be, being a mom is tough. And when they say it takes a village, I mean, I think there's a reason why they have that saying, because it truly does take an army of people to be able to raise your children.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so interesting because Brene Brown was like mentioning in her Gift of Imperfection is her audio, and she was talking about this one scenario where a mom was like late to like her whatever 7-year-old like rehearsal, whatever it was, and she was like frowned upon. Like the
Hmm.
other moms just looked at her just like, oh, I can't believe this. You missed a rehearsal, right? And then another
Yes.
mom walked up to her and gave her a hug. And and said, we've all been there,
Yes.
I didn't even remember the last, whatever show that my son was in. I totally forgot about it, right? So what do you tell those moms who are like, because I see that too. Those like super moms, they usually just stay-at-home moms and they have nothing else to do. They have nannies, they have all this. And so you can compare that to like a single mom who's just like
Right.
on her own. What would you tell them how to deal with that social pressure that's coming in from the outside?
I think the biggest thing that we have to remember as moms, and that what I would tell other moms is you need to let go of what people think of you.
Mm.
And realize that as long as you know that you're doing the best that you can do, that's really all that matters. And quite honestly, I think the eyes of who's really important are your children's eyes. And so are they going to remember the one time that you were late or you didn't come to their play? Or are they going to remember every evening when you had quality time, or when you were laughing at the dinner table, or when you helped them with their homework? What are really the things that they're going to remember? Because the bottom line is that's all that matters. I mean, really all that matters is what they're going to look back on as their own childhood memories. Mm-hmm. And they're going to, like I said, they're not going to remember those instant moments. They're going to remember the overall attitude of the house. They're going to remember the love that they felt. They're going to remember the patience that their mother had. And I think for a lot of women, what women don't understand either is that when we take time for ourselves, when we date, when we allow ourselves to get a babysitter so we can go exercise, when we pamper ourselves, that's showing our own children that we love ourselves and that we take pride in who we are, and that it's important to take care of ourselves. And we might be afraid that our kids think that we're not there, but in reality, I think that's an important lesson that our kids will also see. That's really what, the role modeling is. It's not, oh, my mom was like a slave, and her whole life, and she was always cranky and she was always tired. It's my mom was this radiant, happy, beautiful person who laughed and had great balance and seemed like she could do anything. And that's what we really want to keep in mind is it's not about what the other moms think. And it's hard. I mean, I think that's the hardest thing is we worry, what are their moms going to say? What are they going to say if I go out on dates? What is what are my parents going to say? Are they going to say I'm being a bad mom because I'm getting a babysitter so I can go meet the right person? But when you fast forward, what is all of that going to bring into the family? And that's really what the children are going to see.
Yeah, and it's so true. And I think it's important also for healthy attachment style that kids learn to a certain extent to source themselves, to soothe themselves, right? Mm-hmm. That mom is not always there, and that it's not like a codependent, that they know, if worse comes to worse, mom is there, obviously, right?
Yes.
But it's not every little thing and every little sound you make, right? She's like rushing to the rescue.
Yes.
So much research has shown this anyways to be more damaging to kids than supportive, right? Just
absolutely.
The resilience that's being built. And what are some of the, tips that mom can like start implementing right after they're done listening to this interview, right? Like what are some of the implementable tools you would say they could start to get their life more, balanced?
I think the first thing that they want to do is they want to be able to, and this is what I help women with, always starting off is developing systems. And so having systems and routines that are put in place, whether it's how they get their kids ready for school in the morning, how they get to work, the whole pick up, homework, dinner time routine. Without systems in place, it's really difficult to do anything else because you're not using your time wisely. You're running in circles. And most often, I think everybody feels like if I just had a few more hours in the day. But really, by developing strong routines and systems, you truly can get more time in the day because you're using your time more effectively. And so for all moms, I think just having those routines, those systems, having the families know what those systems are without those things in place, moms can't nurture themselves. They can't have downtime. They're always living in chaos. They can't spend an extra 10 minutes to look good on their hair and makeup. I mean, all of that comes from just being able to free up some more time, or rather waste less time, is crucial. And I think that's one of the hardest things that moms have, is they just don't know how to get those systems in place, or even what systems might work for them. I just had a mom this morning say, I'm having a really hard time. The routines I've developed aren't ones that I can stick to every day. And I said, well, then that's not a routine that's going to work for you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not, and good that we talk about that, right? Because
yes,
I had systems too where I'm like, okay, I'm using a calendar system, but it's in the calendar, but I'm not doing it. So, okay, why you're not doing it, right? So there's something that's not working with my personality style.
Exactly.
Right. And that's where I just really appreciate you having that boutique style of advice for moms, because, you know, it's hard to just like say to all moms, okay, listen, this is step 1, step 2, step 3. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. You know,
that's not how it works. And I was recently asked, you know, how do you coach? What are some things that you tell all of your clients? And I said, I can't give you that answer, because it really truly is different for every single one of my clients, because you mentioned something that's crucial that a lot of people don't pick up on. And that's the idea of personality.
Yeah.
You know, so if, you know, they read a blog and they go, oh, this system, you know, I need to plan all my meals on Sundays, and that's how I'm going to help my dinners be easier. Well, if you don't like to cook, or if you're planning meals that take you an hour every night, then that system is just not going to work for you.
Right.
If that's, you know, so everything truly, I think, has to be customized. And I think what women need to understand is that even for those of us that have a network, we often ask for advice, and then we say, well, if she does it like this, why can't I do it like this? It's because I'm a hot mess. It's because I'm a failure. But it's not. It's because it has to be personal, and it has to be tailored to every individual woman.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, you know, finding someone to help you to understand that comes in handy, because women read and they learn tips and they see things on TV and they say, I'm going to do that. And then they don't understand why it works, and they feel like failures. And that's not what it is at all.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Yeah, Kelley, I could like listen to more and more what you mentioned, because, you know, there's like the Enneagram, there's the DISC, and there's so many different varieties and styles on how to assess the personality. And so to just give like the listener an idea of the scope of the complexity, right? It's like that is easily underestimated when you just take like an advice from a TV show or from even a friend, you know. That's what I used to do in other areas, where I just said like, well, it works for her. She has all those systems and she has this empire. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm a people person. Like, I need somebody to do this for me, because her brain thinks in structure. Mine
absolutely
doesn't, you know. And so once you understand that, you know, where do you need to fill in the blanks, right? So, you know, maybe as a mom, you need more tools that, you know, categorize things more for you, because you don't think in categories or whatever, right? So
yeah, and it opens up, you know, it's not just for being a mom. I mean, things like that open up your ability to spend more time on yourself, your ability to date, your ability to have girl nights out. I mean, everything that, in the ideal world of if I could do everything, it really starts with the creation of finding those routines that work, because otherwise we're just, you know, we're dogs chasing our tails all day long, and really nothing gets done.
Right.
And nothing can get done. So.
And our adrenals burn out, right? So you also lose your femininity, your nurturing way that is unique to a mom, that a dad just doesn't have.
Absolutely.
You know? So you also allow the man to be, for the single moms, you allow the man to stay in the masculine, right? So you still can balance back into your feminine with a man, which that won't be able if you burn yourself out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just think that's really the key, because when I talk about, you know, tips to being a hot mom, everything revolves around that, sustaining your energy, nurturing other relationships, nurturing yourself. You can't do any of that if you're burnt out at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're on the same page, Kelley. And so for those of the listener who was like, oh my God, I need help, so like, Kelley, what should I do? So how can they contact you and learn more about what works for their unique personality style, right?
Yeah. So right now I have a really fantastic download that I think any mom would benefit from. And that's talking about 5 tips to staying hot. And it's a PDF file, and it's just like a little place to get started. And it's very, like I said, it's very general because every mom kind of has to make it their own and realize what that looks like for them. So we have a fantastic Facebook group, and it's Hot Mom, HAUTE Mom. And they can also find me at beahotmom at gmail.com. So that's beahot, again, HAUTE Mom at gmail.com. And they can reach out to me. I can get them the downloadable that way. I'm doing free 20-minute sessions because I think every mom can probably fit 20 minutes into their busy day, but free 20-minute sessions that we can do on the phone or through video chat, just to see if there's some little tweaks that we can help them make to, like I said, get those systems down, free up a little bit more time, and be able to get through the day without just being burnt out.
Yeah. Or they call you with their camera and they show you the cabinet, and you're like, I see already what's not working.
Yes, look at my dishes. Here's my laundry. What am I going to do?
Okay, I see some opportunities for some systems.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll have so much fun, and so many women will take advantage of that, because I feel as a mom, like, you just don't think like that. You just don't think that, that might actually be able something. I feel like so many moms feel like, this is what I have to deal with. This is just how it is, and I just have to suck it up. And now you actually can do something about this.
I agree, and I do believe that for the specific women that you work for, who are out there trying to find that special person, I think it's really important that they have something in place where they do have these systems, and they are able to nurture themselves before they go out and they find somebody else. Because I think what they can bring to the table in a relationship, if they are in a great place, is so much greater than trying to start a relationship or find somebody when you're tired or burnt out or your life is chaos, and things like that. And I'm sure that's one of the things that you guys work on in your summit. But, for moms, it's just a little bit different because there are other people that come into play with those strategies and things like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that we've seen when we've done our research is the reason why some of men don't want to date a single mom is because of the chaos. It's actually not about the kids, that they have kids. It's like, I don't want to deal with all this mess. They're so stressed out and so overwhelmed. And, I want to have a woman who's like, juicy and has energy, right? So that also kind of tells you, okay, it's a myth. You're thinking for the wrong reason that men don't want to date single moms. It's because of this chaos that they're scared, because they're like, what? That's what I'm going to be dropped into?
Yeah.
And then
I have so many moms say, nobody wants to date me because I have children. And the reality is, it has nothing to do with your children.
Yeah.
People don't want to date you because your life's a mess.
Yeah.
And, I don't think anybody puts a personal ad saying, I really would love to find a woman who can barely take care of herself and whose life is a mess.
Yeah, and who's constantly stressed out because she's late to appointments. And
Yeah, you probably don't find a lot of men looking for that. But there's a big misconception, and they think the misconception is because they have children, and that's really not what it is at all. It's really the how they have played their role out and what that looks like, and it's not the child aspect. It's how control they are of their lives that really, I think, tends to make men pull away.
And that's why I love your work too, because actually now women can turn this into an opportunity and can actually surprise the men, be like, wow, she's such a old mom, she's a mom, and she has like her hair straightened and she wears a hot dress and she exercises. And so then it's like a payoff, right? Because she has a kid and it's not that expected, and it's like a surprise, right?
Yes. And I think for all the women that are listening, if you think about like when you see a dad who has his children and he's well dressed and he's put together and he's doing the drop off or the pickup or they're in the park, like there's nothing sexier than a parent who's good looking, who has it together, who's calm, who's happy, and who's with their children. I mean, I really think that's one of the sexiest things on earth. And I guarantee that men feel the same way about women. Yeah. A woman who's beautiful and put together and happy and calm, and she's with her kids and they're all having a good time. I mean, that's like an amazing picture, I think, that women can create with just a few tweaks. Because that's what a man, and like you said, that I think it really it takes men back, because I think the stereotypical idea of a mom is the messy hair bun and no makeup and yoga pants.
Exactly. Or like the tennis outfit, like like in Southern California, everybody wears like those short tennis skirts.
Yes.
And I had like one friend, it was so hilarious. She's like, she works at home, right? And then when she was picking up her kids, she would always put on like her tennis skirt. And I was like thinking, are you just doing this because, you're putting off a certain image and you're supposed to look like it was coming from the tennis court too?
Yeah.
And it's like, I was just like so confused. I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, you're not going playing tennis with your kids afterwards.
Yeah.
But it really shows that, that like what you said, this like common image that's like people are used to, right? Like, and if you don't look like that, it's almost like you look like put together. Did you work? Bad.
Yeah.
Right? You took care of yourself. So yeah, absolutely. So excited. So go to hotmom@gmail.com or go to Kelley's Facebook room, Be a Hot Mom.
It's Hot Mom, HAUTE Mom.
Yes.
Yeah, come join us on Facebook and we can start chatting, and there's always good tips and moms sharing things and a lot of humor, because that's part of what's going to get you through the day. So
I'm sure it's like one of those, I'm sure you have like, let's tell all of our favorite mess up stories.
Yeah. Who forgot to put on underwear today? Did anyone else forget to put on underwear today?
Where's that shirt backwards, right?
Yeah. I just had a customer call me yesterday, or a client call me yesterday, and she said, I have to tell you real quick, I know our next session isn't until next week, but I went to drop off the kids and I forgot to put on underwear. I said, well, were you wearing pants? And she said, yeah. I go, well, you're good then. You're good. Like, it's not a fail. You're totally fine.
But it's not as bad as wearing 2 different pairs of shoes or something, right? I mean, I heard that too. So.
Which I have done.
So good. Yeah. And that's what I see too. It's not just about the systems, but also, supporting the moms and finding the humor and finding the lightness and finding the laughter in what they're in, and that it's just like, welcome to being a mom, welcome to life, and just to like, and kind of like scrub it off your shoulder, whatever else somebody else is saying, right? Just loving yourself anyways for it.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Kelley.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
And so for those of you moms who are like, so now how do I find this man, right? So one opportunity we have is like with our Find the One Summit coming up on April 15. And it's a one-day event where we help you to really look at what are your stories? Where are you actually stuck from? And you find this probably too, Kelley, like to actually acknowledge what you really want, not just like what you think you can have, but for like, no, if dreams would come true, right? Like this is really my ideal scenario. And also being honest, like what's not working. Because we tend to lie to ourselves and be like, oh, it's not that bad, or, whatever. But just really going there and looking at what it is. And so we transform that right there and then. So that's our Find the One Summit. What do you want to say something, Kelley?
No, I said that's amazing. It's so true. It said those are just processes that I think open the doors in so many aspects that you're talking about. So that's amazing.
And moms, we've made it a one-day event, okay? So like, don't tell me you can't find somebody for one day. We already cut it back from 2 days to 1 day, so it's more doable, So if that's like really speaks to you and you're ready for that, and Kelley gets you ready, so you have all the systems. So yes. One day.
Yes.
Then go to findonesummit.com. So very much straightforward. You see it in the background too, findonesummit.com, and get your ticket right there. And again, thank you so much, Kelley, for
Thank you
being on the podcast and enlightening, bringing some light energy and spirit to it as well. And for the listeners, I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.